Biden's State Department is educating your children. You might be surprised to learn that under President Biden, the U.S. State Department and the Department of Homeland Security are now educating your children on how to be good little leftists. If you wondered why Biden's State Department failed to anticipate the fall of Kabul to the Taliban, if you wondered why the Biden State Department failed to anticipate Russian tanks rolling into Ukraine, and if you wondered why the Biden State Department failed to anticipate the Hamas attacks on October 7th into the state of Israel, this is by Media Research Center, which also runs the Newsbusters media watchdog group. Breaking report: how the Biden administration pushed German censorship to American teachers. You might wonder where it is in the Constitution of the United States that the State Department is tasked with educating public school children. But this program started under President Joe Biden. The Media Research Center has learned that the State Department and the Department of Homeland Security have funded a censorship effort that trains teachers to inoculate students against conservative ideas and American ideals. It also trains educators to turn children into activists and to use censorship tools in classrooms across the nation. Wow, you paid for this. The State Department began this censorship push through a year-long series of seminars coordinated by the University of Rhode Island and its German counterpart. These seminars commenced in June of 2021 and concluded in April of 2022. National Archives. The Cabinet, established in Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. The Cabinet's role is to advise the President on any subject he requires relating to the duties of each member's respective office. Does that sound like what Biden's Cabinet has been doing for the past 2 or 3 years? Over 700 educators participated in a year-long series of State Department seminars hosted by the University of Rhode Island's Media Education Lab. These seminars provided tools to train teachers on how to censor speech. Examples included video games designed to entice children to embrace leftist narratives. The State Department seminars detailed how to put censorship tools, ad fontes, and NewsGuard into American classrooms. The NewsGuard portion of the curricula was funded in part by, you guessed it, activist billionaires George and Alexander Soros from the Soros Foundation. A session of the State Department seminars centered on how to train children as political activists. Remember, this is for public school children, funded by your tax dollars. The curriculum pushed in this session included lessons promoting street protests for leftist causes and detailed instructions on how to turn school children into, quote, media producers who advocate against free speech. Educators were told to reward children with prizes for promoting censorship via social media posts on platforms like Instagram. The State Department seminars were co-hosted by a German government institution and focused on bringing German indoctrination strategies into American classrooms. How the Biden administration pushed German censorship to American teachers. The Biden administration has created an interconnected web of public and private actors to silence political dissent across the United States. This network involves a dizzying array of actors: federal agencies, state officials, local politicians, academia, activist groups, nonprofits, a lobby shop, media ratings firms, billionaires, the public school system, and foreign governments. Just as an aside, can you imagine if President Trump had done anything like this in his 4 years? The Rhode Island Lab has spent 2 decades pushing a specific strain of media literacy, a rebranding of censorship for a Gen Z audience. With the Biden administration's backing, the Rhode Island Lab has been able to supercharge its efforts, rolling out its programs nationwide to a vast and incestuous network of connected organizations for the administration to direct. And if you think about it, folks, this is one of the main reasons that Donald Trump was such a threat to the federal bureaucracy, to the establishment, to the Washington, D.C. swamp, and to all of the Democrat organizations and front groups that tap into your tax dollars, Donald Trump interrupted many initiatives like this. This can't be the only one, where hundreds of organizations and government bureaucrats were stealing your money in order to program your children to be good little leftist social justice warriors, so that 10 years from now they all go and vote Democrat and organize and agitate and riot and protest on behalf of the Democratic Party. If you protest against the Democratic Party, you're an insurrectionist, and every federal judge assigned to prosecute you will throw the book at you. The reason why is in this article. The entire federal government and your tax dollars exist solely to further and perpetuate the power of the Democratic Party over you and your family. That's where we are in 2024. This report details the incubation part of the Biden administration's endeavor, a year-long series of seminars hosted and funded by the State Department in Würzburg, Germany. It was here that the Rhode Island lab first trained American educators on European socialist strategies for bringing indoctrination into the classroom to inoculate students against conservative ideas and turning the students into leftist political activists. The series of seminars, which consisted of 11 segments and stretched from June of 2021 to April of 2022, were hosted virtually out of Germany. Over 700 American educators were trained at the seminar, with a select 18 American teachers paired with European instructors to create model lesson plans for use in United States classrooms. In 2021, the Rhode Island Lab held a seminar for educators on how to teach students about the limits of freedom of expression. Wow! And how to limit the harms of dangerous speech. Promos for the seminar explained domestic terrorism was clearly inspired by former President Trump and featured tasteless artwork depicting the January 6th riot as a Lego set for children. That is kind of cute. Look, there's the Buffalo Shaman guy. In September of last year, the Rhode Island Lab attempted to organize an event to confront the white supremacy of digital blackface, a term for when non-black internet users feature images of black people in their avatars, icons, or GIFs on their social media or video game accounts. Maybe they were thinking of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's blackface. There's a good low-level communist for you right there. Maybe they were thinking of Jimmy Kimmel, arch-Trump critic and non-comedian, when he did his blackface. A session of the State Department seminar centered on how to train children as political activists. The curriculum pushed in this session included lessons promoting street protests for leftist causes and detailed instructions on how to turn school children into media producers who advocate against free speech. Educators were told to reward children with prizes for promoting censorship via social media posts on platforms like Instagram. Meet's curriculum described how to use children as media producers, where children will be advocating intercultural values and social justice through their own media productions and practices. Obviously, this is for very young children. The Rhode Island Lab secured finances from the Department of Homeland Security to bring the theories discussed during the State Department seminars into action. Parents should demand the censorship tools be removed from your local school. And it looks like their focus is on grade school, elementary school. They want to get your kids as young as possible to become Democrat social agitators. Congress must defund all domestic censorship efforts, appropriations, and authorizations. Nothing matters more to the Democratic Party than their ideology and the power that that ideology conveys. Think of that if you're planning or not planning to vote this time around. Our country depends on it. Thank you.